Are the pension funds of government employees that have been squandered on Daybreak foods just the tip of the iceberg? We speak to Zirk Gous, the spokesperson for the Association for Monitoring and Advocacy of Government Pensions. Welcome, Zirk.
Hello, Chris. Thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome. Please recap for us the Daybreak disaster.
Chris, Daybreak is a poultry farm which was acquired by the Government Employee Pension Fund or on their behalf by the Public Investment Corporation in 2015 for an amount of 1.2 billion rand. Now, right from the beginning, it received massive negative publicity, and it was primarily about questionable governance. The tall, the short of it, let's jump from 2015 to this year. This year, there was 3 different applications to liquidate the poultry farm, to liquidate Daybreak. Eventually, it ended up in business rescue, but it failed to pay all their clients and their service providers. It failed to pay all the workers, and there was massive unhappiness. Obviously, the workers were severely prejudiced, and that is where we are at this point of time. 1.2 billion rand, that is 9 zeros, which is at risk. We welcome the business rescue in the sense that it is an effort to safeguard 1.2 billion rand of state pensioner money. And the GEPF has got a variety of other horror stories, but I think important what we should do is, what is the real cause of this very, very unhappy story?
Well, Zirk, this is not the only case of a risky investment in a politically driven project. What about the Isiah Project?
Chris, what happened is as I indicated, the GEPF's investments are being made by the Public Investment Corporation. The GEPF is managing 2.3 trillion rand of state pensioner money. It is 12 zeros. It is 2.3 million rand. It's a massive, massive pot of money. The GEPF is running a transformation policy on their side, and then on their agent, the Public Investment Corporation. This transformation policy is manifesting in the Isiah Fund. The Isiah Fund and the Daybreak investment is one of the investments within the Isiah Fund. Isiah is investing in unlisted entities, which is an international best practice, but in South Africa it manifests in only investments in BBBEE companies. And it's gotten 300, 400, 500 specific and different investments. The success rate of Isiah is very much the same as Daybreak. There in 2018, 2020, there was a judicial commission of inquiry into allegations of impropriety at the Public Investment Corporation. It also dealt with Isiah. And the finding of this commission is that 44% of the Isiah investments are at risk of failing and failing. So it simply is indicative of the risk as found by the commission. If one look at the GEPF's annual statements, annual reports, that is another horror story. For the last 2 years, each and every year, they wrote off, use the correct term, they impaired 6 billion rand plus um, of funds which were simply written off. Now, if you analyze the specific investments which eventually end up in 6 billion rand, you've gotten 38, 37 specific investments. And of those investments, you've got 24, 26 being Isiah investments. It means that of the 6 billion rand written off by the GEPF in terms of their own annual reports originates from Isiah investments. Now, if that is not high risk, uh, you will have to advise me what is high risk. The Isiah fund is really bad news, and the money which is lost is the money of state employees and of vulnerable pensioners.
Zirk, who should be held accountable ultimately for these bad investments with government employees' pension money?
That's a very, very good question. If you look at the core problem is that both the Government Employee Pension Fund and the Public Investment Corporation are under total political control. I'm not going to go into all the legalities, simply let us summarize it. The Minister of Finance say, where do you put your money? It must approve all the investments made by the Government Employee Pension Fund. The moment you go and you use pension fund money and you use it for political considerations, then it is problematic. If you want to go political consideration down that route, you must use simply tax money. You cannot use the funds of a pension fund. It is simply in principle problematic. So if we look at the vulnerable employees of Daybreak, of all the contractors which stands at risk of going insolvent in itself, who should be accountable? Accountable should be Minister of Finance, the Board of Trustees of the GEPF, and the Board of Directors of the Public Investment Corporation. With their approval, they invest in high-risk investments like Daybreak. It thus means they are not acting in the best interest of the fund, but they are acting in the best interest of the ruling political party. They are pursuing high-risk political investments. They are thus not adhering to their fiduciary duties. And their fiduciary duties is very clear. Act in the best interest of the fund. They are not doing it. So the people which should be called to account for the pain and the suffering of the Daybreak employees, Minister of Finance, Board of Trustees of the GEPF, the Board of Trustees of the Public Investment Corporation.
Zirk, how much in total have they squandered on these political driven projects since the start?
In 2016, they made a report to the Parliament Standing Committee on Finance, known as SCOF. At that point of time, they have already, as from 2009, invested 44 billion rand of pension funds, and they had, as I indicated, a 44 failure rate of that. If you analyze as from 2015 until today, the total money written off as impairments, that is about an 52 billion rand. At our calculation is that 31 billion rand was Isiah investments and which was lost. Now, if you invest any money in any private investment company, a 1% failure rate can be acceptable. That is the industry norm. What they are writing off here are 3%. And if you confront them with that, they say, why are you concerned? It is only 2%, it is only 3%. That 3% is 33 billion rand, 33,000 million rand. That, in my mind, is big money.
Zirk, what is the worst case scenario for government employees if their pension funds keep getting squandered like this?
Chris, I think it will be responsible for me to say and to relay this message to all state pensioners. The GEPF is not about to go insolvent. It's not about to go to implode. For the state pensioners, they will, as the solvency rate of the GEPF is at this point of time, their pension is not at risk. They will receive their monthly pension. But we need to act on 33 billion rands which are squandered in irresponsible political high-risk investments. And that is an urgent thing.
Well, obviously, this money can't be recouped, can it?
Can I reserve my rights on that one?
No, I don't know. I'm asking.
In principle, it can be. But if you do that, where do you get the money from? It eventually means that you will have to go to the Minister of Finance. And that money will have to come out of your pocket. You're a taxpayer. If you recoup
So,
that,
Zirk,
if
continue.
you recoup that, it will come from the fiscus. 33 billion rand additional tax to you.
So how can this be stopped, contained, and so that this does not continue?
Well, I think that is future music. But it is important that one way or another we will have to get rid of the political control and this judicial commission, which I spoke about, which is known as the Party Commission, in fact, recommended very specifically that the political controls should be removed from the PIC and that the Deputy Minister of Finance should not chair the board of the public investment corporations. Now, that specific recommendation from the Party Commission was simply thrown out of the door.
Okay, what's the bottom line then, Zirk? Now,
I think we are investigating our options on this, and the key to that will be we will have to amend the legislation, the Government Employee Pension Law. We will have to amend the Public Investment Corporation Act to remove the political control. That will be the solution for further bad investments. To go back in history, that is work in progress.
thank you. That was Zirk Gous, the spokesperson for the Association for Monitoring and Advocacy of Government Pension Funds, speaking to BizNews about high-risk investments in politically driven projects. I'm Christine. Thank you, Zirk.
Thank you, Chris.